Jefferson City, a bill looking to ban vaccine mandates is making its way to the House floor. If passed, it would not allow agencies to require COVID-19 vaccinations or anything that would alter a person's DNA. The Missouri Chamber of Commerce and Industry filed testimony opposing the bill, saying this bill may be in direct conflict with federal mandates and then put businesses in a difficult position of having requirements from two different government bodies.
On small businesses, quite frankly, they could get sued out of existence. This bill creates a new cause of action, which means the ability to file any type of lawsuit against a business owner. And that's a big concern.
Can't mandate things. I think the government should not be mandating, and that employers have a better idea of how they manage exemptions.
It did pass out of committee yesterday, so now it will head to the House floor.
Paige